In this video, I will tell you the immediate and medium-term steps you have to take when you lose your job. Stay till the end as I will share with you my favorite CV writing tips that helped me to secure 200k jobs over the course of my career. Hi guys, I'm Anna Lehman and a creative personal performance coach, and in this channel we talk about strategies to build a joyful, high-performing life and achieve personal success. I have been working in corporate for the last 15 years, and as many of us had situations when I was out of jobs. So was my husband, my colleagues, my clients. Hence why I have developed my own set of rules that help me and my clients to get back on track again and find the next successful chapter in their career. Losing a job can be a daunting and overwhelming experience, and it's something that can happen to anyone, regardless of their background, skills, or profession. It's a harsh reality that we all face at some point in our careers, and it's essential to be prepared for different situations that might happen to you. It's actually a myth when people think that they have that stability in corporate. You never have stability in corporate, and you can lose the job any day. When you lose your job, it's natural to feel uncertain, stressed, and anxious about what's next. You start wondering how you will pay your bills, what you're going to do next, take care of your family, and maintain your lifestyle. Job loss can also affect your relationships, causing tension and conflict with your loved ones. The financial implications can be severe too. You may struggle to make ends meet, falling behind on bills and accumulating debt. The pressure to find a new job quickly can be quite overwhelming, making it difficult to focus on what you need to do to move forward. The uncertainty and lack of control can be quite paralyzing, making it hard to take the necessary steps to get back on track. With so much uncertainty, it's easy to get stuck in a rut, feeling like you are unable to move forward. However, it's essential to get yourself together, build an action plan, and work through it. First 24 hours, regain your focus. Depending on how and when you receive your news, it might be quite overwhelming. And I wouldn't recommend making any big decisions and taking any big actions in the first 24 hours. Because firstly, you will not be in the right state of mind. You will not be operating from the logical mind, but rather from the emotional mind. And when you operate from the emotional mind, our actions might not be the ones we really need long term. Secondly, you probably won't be in the position to focus and be productive. So the first step to take is to use your first 24 hours slowly to get yourself back together. Do something that brings you joy and makes you feel better, something that will allow you to mentally recover. I remember when I was let go from my quite senior job, even though I expected it was coming, and it was not a surprise for me. I was planning to leave a few months down the track anyway, but how it was all organized and done was pretty nasty. So what I did straight after that is that I went to the gym, I went to my steam room, then I had a nice lunch with my husband, went for a walk with a cup of coffee, and by the time it was afternoon, I was relatively okay and back to my resourceful state. The second step I recommend you take is that you review your finances. Assess how much money you have, what payments you will need to make over the coming 4 to 8 weeks. Hopefully you have some budget in place and savings called emergency fund, which I have spoken about in my videos on personal finance. Feel free to check out one of those here. If you have no savings, no money, you need to think of what you can leverage to give yourself some time to find another income stream. How you can temporarily cut on some unnecessary spends, postpone and delay some of those. It is not an ideal state, but all of those situations are good lessons for us. Make yourself commit that once you find your next job, the first thing you're going to do is that you will build your emergency fund. Step number 3 is to reflect. It is also a very good time to start reflecting on why you lost this job. For example, in my case, I knew it was coming. In my last 3 jobs, I ended up working for someone I didn't choose. As it can happen in corporate world, your boss can change any day. I struggled to obey the rules, as I knew there were better ways to run the processes and lead the team. My entrepreneurial spirit was coming out more and more. At that time, I was already working on building my business, and it was getting pretty hard to settle for something I didn't enjoy. I knew sooner rather than later that it would be inevitable. So all of that reflection that was happening in my head in my first 24 hours was actually giving me the answers to such questions as, what are my values? What has been missing in my job that I ended up where I am right now? Have I ignored the writings on the wall, and what were those? So while you are on a walk or in the gym or lying on the couch, I highly recommend you have the dialogue with yourself. This will then help you with the next steps. Next 72 hours, get your basics right. It is important to take time to process your emotions, but we can't let fear and uncertainty hold us back from taking next actions. So within next few days, build a clear action plan to focus on your basics and work through that. Step 1, update your resume. This is your first most important step. I usually try to make sure my CV is always up to date and have always encouraged my team to do the same. We do so many things throughout the year and very often we forget about our achievements. But when we update our CV regularly, it is much easier to keep track of everything. It is much easier than to trim it down than to start writing it from scratch. If you don't want to use your version, look up and research the best examples of CVs. As mentioned before, I will show you my CV later on as a showcase, but there are plenty of tools and apps now. My favorite one is resumenow.com, which will give you plenty of ideas where to start and what kind of formatting to use. The tool is free. My top few recommendations in terms of CV are: first, make sure you have the summary at the top. Second, make sure your CV is easy to follow, concise, and clean. I have reviewed plenty of CVs myself, and I can tell you that it can be pretty frustrating when it looks messy, the formatting is not consistent and is all over the place, your message is scattered around the document, and there are spelling errors. 3, ask someone to review your CV for you, your partner, your friend, people you trust. If you hire a coach, even better. 4, focus on your achievements more than responsibilities when you describe your previous roles. I know it might be a bit harder if you are a bit more junior, but at least try to have a combination of responsibilities and achievements rather than just focusing on your responsibilities. 5, have different sections: summary, details, skills and competencies, languages, computer literacy. The more structured you make it, the more successful outcome will be. Step 2, update your LinkedIn profile. 97% of HR and staffing professionals use LinkedIn in their recruiting efforts. Candidates with a comprehensive LinkedIn profile have a 71% higher chance of getting a job interview. So it is absolutely important to make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date and is in line with your CV. Make it short, concise, neat. Remember, recruiters and employers do not have more than a few seconds to attend to it, so it needs to be so clear that it will talk to who you are and what you can offer in like 3 seconds. Make sure you have a professional headshot as your photo. Ask someone of your ex-colleagues to provide you recommendations on LinkedIn. This always adds some credibility. If you feel stuck on how and what needs to be done, there are plenty of free YouTube videos guiding you step by step on how to use LinkedIn and what needs to be done there. By the way, if you do find this video helpful so far, highly appreciate you taking a second to like it, or even better, to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Step 3, networking. Reach out to your network, letting them know that you are looking for a new opportunity. Attend job fairs, networking events, and industry conferences to connect with people in your field. Never underestimate the power of networking. A lot of senior jobs actually are being found through networking. And as they say, your network is your net worth. Step 4, write down the description of your ideal job. What kind of company you would like to work for? What kind of leader and culture? What your day-to-day needs to look like? What are your top 5 non-negotiables? Whether it is flexibility or particular level of salary or particular location or particular job spec. What you're ready to sacrifice if the right role comes up. How does it fit into your 3 and 5 year career plan? Step 5. Write down that elevator pitch, which is pretty much your 2-minute summary of what kind of job you want and why you would be a right fit for it. Step 6. Start applying to job openings through LinkedIn or any other job search platform. Make sure the jobs you're applying for align with your skills, interests, and especially values. And the reason why I say it is super important is because looking for a job is a very time-consuming thing. So it will be much better if you find something which aligns to your values, as the chances will be higher, you will be more satisfied there and will stay longer. Make sure you tailor your CV to a job opening you're applying for. Nowadays, in the times of robotization and artificial intelligence, the first thing that will probably happen with your CV is that it will be received by the company. It will be scanned by a tool or system that will spit out how much alignment your CV has with the job spec. You know those cases when you get rejected within the first 30 minutes after you have applied? This is exactly it. It means the system didn't consider your CV to be suitable for this role, as probably your achievement and responsibilities you have put on your CV are not reconciling to the requirements of a job spec. So in order for you to make sure you are at least get to the stage when a person will start looking at your CV, invest some time and invest some effort into tailoring your CV accordingly. Next 2 to 4 weeks. Your next 2 to 4 weeks should be filled with the various action items we just spoken about, and catch-ups and hopefully interviews. Looking for a job is a job in itself. Stay disciplined. Schedule your activities that you plan to do in your diary. For example, 10 to 11 applying for jobs, 11 to 12 following up with calls and messages, 2 to 4 meetings, interviews, and networking. You need to stay focused and use your time efficiently. You should be busy, but in a good way. Prepare for your interviews. If you have identified that there are some potential gaps in your knowledge or skills that you might need to learn, now is the right time to do so. Incorporate those goals in your diary and stick to your commitments. If you feel stuck or lost or start panicking, hire a coach. I help a lot of people to get career clarity, prepare for interviews, build up their confidence, and there are even some career coaches who will help you to write your CVs. It is also super crucial to take care of yourself during this time. Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating well, and exercising regularly. Surround yourself with positive people who can offer support and encouragement. And most importantly, stay positive and focused on your goals, even when it gets tough. You need to keep working on your mindset and remind yourself that it is just another chapter of your life. It is not the end of the world, and your job does not define you. People lose job every minute for various reasons, but it should not define you, and even more so, do not let this impact your mental health. Always think about your worst case scenario. Okay, you have a mortgage and now you're out of the job. Call the bank, inquire about the options for financial support and whether you can delay some of your payments. In the worst case scenario, if you don't get a job, can you sell your house and move to a smaller place temporarily? You see, when we reframe how we look at things, we start seeing solutions to our problems rather than just feeling stuck. If you have no savings, what can you leverage? Can you do Uber for a few hours per day to get some cash while you're still looking? Give yourself time and keep working. To put it in perspective, I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos or maybe in Instagram Reels is that when I was looking for my recent role, I got 300 rejections in 8 months. What you have to remember is that you need only one yes, and it will come if you do everything what we have just spoken about. And bonus tip, as promised, my CV showcase. Here is the example of my CV, which went through multiple iterations and reviews by different recruiters. I used a tool called resumenow.com to help me with framework and formatting and style. It is a free tool and it has hundreds of templates, which is very handy. My resume had a very positive feedback from many companies and recruiters, as mentioned before, helped me to secure 200k jobs. So whatever recommendations I'm giving you here, you can take it or leave it, but they definitely work. As you can see, my CV can be split in few sections. First page is the summary, so the employer can get the idea of who I am and what I'm offering from the first page. It has the section about me, summary of my achievements, my skills and competencies. The next few pages are the description of the roles I had with the focus on achievements rather than responsibilities, which gives a bit more detail if the recruiter or the company is interested. There are two schools of thought whether there should be a photo or not. I personally think it depends on the preferences, up to you. I have always had a photo, so this is my preference. To summarize this video, losing a job can be tough. I know how it can feel, but it's not the end of the world. By taking proactive steps, maintaining a positive mindset, and staying focused on your goals and on your values, you can bounce back stronger than ever. If you've ever lost a job, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. What did you do to get back on track? What helped you the most? And what advice would you give to someone who's going through a similar situation? And if you feel like you're stuck in life and don't know where to start, check out my video here where I talk about clear roadmap of steps you can start taking to get that clarity in life. As always, rooting for you and for your personal success. With care, Anna.